Testing, testing. Hi guys. I'm gonna introduce myself today a little bit. My name is Kenneth Lavoy, or my username is also Icicle, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of a history about myself. Before any Valorant at all, I played Counter-Strike, and that was my first ever game I got into. I was 8 years old. My dad introduced me to Counter-Strike Source. I more or less when I started competing, I was around 13 when I started competing in Counter-Strike Go. Not too far in CS:GO. My biggest jump was going into obviously to Valorant. I immediately had success. I hit Valorant immediately, which was Radiant before in Veda, and so I was pretty good. And that was around when I was 16, 17. And going from that, I didn't play any tournaments until I turned 18. I was on a first stunt team called Chicago Sirens. That team was more or less just a bunch of pug stars from Chicago, and we all came together, played a bunch of LANs together, and then from there, I had a huge transition going into more of a broader org that had a lot more competitive experience, B-Hop Esports, which they had a CSGO team at the time, housing Stanislaw, and that was my biggest step into esports. I had a full-on organization empower me and teach me how to be PR trained, and that was my biggest introduction to that. And then I had a huge span into tier 2, making second day in challengers, and then going into pop-up tourneys as well. I made a pretty big name for myself back then. I got to Roosevelt because I went to a first school called, and during the time I was getting, I want to say mistreated, and I feel at the time period I was in a spot where I need a school that actually cares about me and actually wants their esports program to grow and actually cares about their players. I think when I was looking for schools, a couple came up, but Roosevelt was the biggest one. I think their community, their directors, their players, they were all happy, it seemed like, and I wanted to go there. I feel that was at first the best first expression I ever had. And being when I won their LAN together and they hear me in the background screaming when they won one map, it was really cool. And I think that was one of the biggest turn points of I want to go to that school. And so and luckily the affordability with Roosevelt and everything else, it was so easy just to transition. And obviously I was born and raised in Chicago, so it was easy to come back home. So to introduce the 2024 Valorant roster, it is myself, Icicle, Hysteria, Xerix, Ing, and Sosa. All those players. The way we went about recruiting, at least, was I knew Hysteria way early on in my career. One of the few pug rosters I was on, and I convinced him to come here. And I mean, obviously, he was in Illinois before, so it wasn't much of an adjustment for him. For Kyle, for Ing, he was more of a person that I didn't know at all that was was from Illinois. And so when we were talking to him, I ran into him during other trials for other schools previously. So when I made the transition to Roosevelt, I was able to convince him to come over here. And then for Grayson, Xerix, he was an interesting one. We were doing trials, and I had nothing prior knowledge before him at all. And he really surprised me. During the trials, I think I was one of the best players I think I saw among the trials as well. His comms, his play style, it all kind of really fit the role that we wanted. And then with Niles, it was more of for Sosa, it was more of a walk-on. Ironically, the roster that we were supposed to field got a little choppy. And then luckily, our Lord and Savior Niles, Sosa, he came on and said, I want to play Valorant. And I was like, yeah, for sure. And I immediately started him. He's one of the players who's seen the greatest improvements I've ever seen in any player. Going from gold to diamond 1 within, a month? I'm very proud of him. I'm so proud. I think every time that he has a round, and he can have rounds, it's insane. I think the energy is, he kind of brings it together. I think one of the best players I've ever seen just grow, especially from competing with us. So for the 2024 roster, at least the fall, we're playing NECC and ECAC and some tier 2 and Mr. Fun Havers. Right now, we're mostly focused on NECC for the fact that it's really competitive right now. We're in the D2 East B, and we're trying to focus on making playoffs, which I think we for sure clinched it. I have no clue though. And I will say that they have a lot more better teams and a lot more better experience for us, and I think we want to win that for sure, just for the fact that it was a part of tournament. We're also competing in ECAC, and that it's a little more, we're in the open division, so we're kind of just trying to qualify for a higher division. So right now we're taking it seriously enough for the fact that we want to win all our games, but it's not our main focus when we do practice, not when we do anything at all. We're looking at more of the teams in NECC, and then Mr. Fun Hour is just one. We just played one, and I plan on doing more for this fall. So we're going to go over our NECC matches, just want to do a quick little brief description about every match and tell you guys how we felt about it going into it, and then how I feel like we did after, and kind of what we learned from it. So to go into the first week at least, we played Baker, which is the hardest team in our division on our first day of NECC. And it was very hard going into that match. I think I was trying to convince everybody that, hey, we might have practice, and this team we're playing is pretty well ironed together. They're all individually talented players, like Fate, Mon didn't play, Nami didn't play, Ladder Moves, all those players that are really good. We went into the map knowing that what maps we wanted to play and what map we could win, and what maps we should take them on, and what maps we will lose. So bans went definitely our way. We definitely had a preferable ban. We took Bind, and then they played Haven, and then I can't remember the third map because we didn't reach to it. But one of the spoilers was after we lost to that team. It's pretty harsh because we knew exactly what we needed to win, what we had to do to bring it very close, and it was just a bunch of inexperience that kind of messed us up, and that's really what all she wrote during that match. And obviously in Haven, that's their best map, so it kind of messed us up there. But I will say it was very much a fun learning experience. We played the best team into the first round of NECC, so it kind of sets the pace for, all right, we just played the hardest team. Now we know that everything else is going to be easier than this, but we have to be prepared for this team. So that was our first week. So week 2 for NECC, we played Concordia, and those guys are our scrim partners. We scrim them a lot actually, and they're really good. They're really good guys. Chifu specifically, love you. They're all really chill, and they all kind of help us learn. Going into that match, we knew exactly again that our best map going into that was Bind, and we can take them on that pretty easily, and we did sweep them 13-4. That's one of the maps we were very well ironed on, and all of our players were very comfortable. So going to that team, we were very confident on just not having to change anything at all. We play our game and we'll beat them. And then the next map was Ascent, I believe, and that map was a little harder for us. We do practice it, but it was one of the they're one of the teams that we played Ascent a lot on already, and we've had previously lost to them in scrims. So on that map, we were going to that more or less welcoming the fact that if we do lose this map, it's okay. It's not the maps that we're expecting to win, but we pulled through, and we 13-10 them. For our NECC match week 3, we started playing Pace, and that team going into that, we were very confident. Again, a lot of the players, we believed that we could be better than them. So again, practice was not the same for the fact that we focused on how to play our game and not play into their game. So going into the match, we played Ascent and Haven, and the first map was Haven, and that map, we just switched our comp after losing to Baker, and that was one of the biggest things as well, was that Haven, we have a surprise pick here because of the fact that no one has seen our new Haven comp. And so going into the match, I think we definitely caught them off guard. It was a 13-11, so they weren't ready for that, and obviously it was a map that we were confident going into, but we weren't for sure. It was our first time actually officially playing the map. Going into the map, we felt pretty strong after winning that as well. We were going into Ascent, which after we beat Concordia, we were very confident starting to pick in the map as well after they banned Bind. We cruised as well after a more extensive practice and understand that we can be good in the map. And so again, we just cruised them on that at 13-7, and it was all she wrote on that. A pretty good learning experience for the fact that we got to introduce our new comp, and that really showed us how what our mistakes are, since it was a very first time having it. So I think it really helped us iron out the kinks for Haven.
Okay, it is 8:47 a.m. on Saturday, October 19th, I believe, and we are ringing in the Valorant season with a LAN today at Scrims. It is Battle for the Midwest. Don't know what iteration of the tournament it is, but the program has participated in BFTM before. I believe we did it in 2020. Let's see, it's in the spring, so it must have been 2022. The roster looked very different then. I don't think there's a single person on that roster way back then that's on it right now. A lot of people have graduated from the program since then. A few people have stepped back from esports as a whole. And it's just overall a really different environment. So today we have, I guess, 3 people that are completely new to the Roosevelt program. And then we have Kenny, who's only been here for a semester. And then we're also playing with a prospective student today. So we're kind of treating this as a way to ring in the new season with our current varsity roster, as well as kind of just make sure that we kind of know where we're at. We have a pretty high profile recruit that's an IGL that we're looking at. So, and he knows Kenny and he knows Kyle, who's new to the team. So we're kind of just trying them out, see what happens. I believe it's an 8-team LAN, a bunch of pretty good teams. A bunch of teams that are kind of right around our skill level. We played qualifiers a few weeks ago. I believe we went undefeated, but I also think that one team wasn't there, so it was either us in our bracket or the people in the other pool for qualifiers just got a free win. So we're heading back to the good old Scrim Center in Lisle, Illinois today, bright and early as usual. And I don't really know my expectations for the tournament. As this roster's so new. We're pretty successful in both of our regular seasons right now, ECAC and NECC, basically having only lost one match across both, or one best of 3, excuse me. So anything can happen. Obviously everything's different on LAN, and I believe we have a few people that are completely new to LAN as a whole on the team right now, so we'll see. And yeah.
My name is Grayson Freese. I'm a freshman at Roosevelt, and I'm a classical performance major for the clarinet. I'm from Dallas, Texas, which is where I started competing in Valorant at just local LANs, and then with my high school team, we were top of the state for a while. And then when I came here, I decided I wanted to compete as well. Today, I'm really looking forward to being able to meet a ton of other teams in person, and it's much more real actually being able to compete when you can see them. It just feels better. And I'm also excited for hopefully winning.
How's it going, guys? I'm Icicle. This is like a YouTube intro. To go to recap the game, it was really hard. I mean, it's the best team I think we're ever gonna play in the entire tournament. It's the core 3 or tier 3, like a tier 2 roster, challengers. But I do believe that they're very beautiful. I do believe we can win. Just the match, it was a little hard. It was the first game of the day. All the jitters are going in and out. We're going to be perfect for the rest of this run. And the lower bracket run, easy.
Yeah, all right. Hi, everyone. My name's Androlical, Andrew. I was the winner of the Battle of the Midwest 2 years ago alongside with ICKL. I mean, how's the day going so far? I came in a bit into the mid of the first match, and they were going down a little bit. I think they were 5-10, pushed against the wall towards 5-12, and then they started to bring it back. Vibes very much are kind of like early morning, you know, when you just kind of wake up and everyone's still locking in and trying to figure everything out. They definitely started to figure it out and snowball near the second half, and it was honestly really fun and entertaining to watch. No matter how down they were, good vibes from the team. Honestly, it's going pretty well. I'm excited to see how they do. Even through the losing bracket, they do have a chance to kind of come back and bring it all. They could have won. I think it was just kind of morning vibes and an unlucky first half. And I'm excited to see how they do. I think they're probably going to be okay. I expect to see good things from them. I brought better headphones for Kenny, so I think he's gonna ball out and frag twice as hard now. If he doesn't, then that's his fault, not mine. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see how the team goes. Go Lakers!
Mid tournament follow up. I believe we played round 1, and then we played lowers round 1, and then we played lowers round 2, and now we're on lowers round 3. I'm here with final. This is losers finals BO3. All of these have been BO1 up until now. It is around 3:30 right now. We've been here since 9:30, 9:45. So we lost game 1 against Missouri Baptist. That was probably the toughest team here other than us, and then kind of ran the gauntlet through lowers. We had a bye lower round 1. We just won map 1 of losers finals. It's been a bit of a long day so far. Kenny, how you feeling?
I'm tired.
Any other words?
I'm the best clove in A.
He is the best clove in all of North America. But yeah, it's been a fun day so far. The vibes are, I think, okay, right?
We're all super hyped and caffeinated as
Yeah, caffeinated as heck. But yeah, I mean, ideally, if we win this, we basically go right to Grands, which is another BO3. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long day so far. Hopefully we get it over quickly. Hopefully we just sweep from here on out. And drink your daily Red Bull, I guess.
player standing. Clutch.
So going into week 4, it was a forfeit from Fisher Fruit. Pretty surprising and disappointing, but we were excited to play them. But it's okay. And then week 5, Northeastern. It was a hard match to go into at the beginning because we just saw them get fresh off of their win on week 4 against Baker. So going to that, our preparation was changing because we know their maps and the maps they beat Baker on. And that was very surprising that they even beat Baker after they dominantly destroyed us. So going into the match, we were a little nervous, and our preparation for it was really focused on their map pool and how we could better improve that. So we picked a very interesting map, Sunset. And it was a map that we just introduced that we started practicing. And it was before the new pool change as well, so we were forced on Sunset. And going into that match, we were very confident that we could win Sunset. All I had to do was everything has to go right. And that week, a couple things happened as well in that match. When we lost the first map, it was very rough, I want to say. The vibes were very much down because it felt like we couldn't get anything started and anything done. And we were just fresh off of like a grand final in the LAN as well, so it was pretty harsh to experience that one. And then going to the map 2, it was really hard to rally the troops to get our mental back together into Sunset. And Sunset, obviously being one of our maps we were confident on, didn't help at all that it just felt like we couldn't get anything started again. That week was a little rough on that one as well, but it was not an expected loss, but it was okay. We went past it, and I think it helped us regather our mental together as well. Going into week 6, we played Beacon, and that was one of the maps where we just swapped the new map pool. And going into that match, we were prepared for the new map pool, but we've also fell out of practice, it seemed like, in one of the maps, since we switched over kind of our schedule. So going to our map pick, we picked Bind, which was our strongest map, and we played Split, and we played Haven. Going into that match, we were very confident on Split and Haven and Bind, so we were like, this is a really good map pool, but we should 2-0 them here. Surprisingly, we did not. We lost our map pick immediately. It was 13-7 on their end, and we got dominated. I think it was more or less of why we lost was because of the fact that we were out of practice, and trying to squeeze in all the new practice for the new maps was really hard. So going into that match after we lost, we had to again, reset our mental and go into Split, which is a map we did practice, we were prepared, but it was very close. It was a 13-11, and it was really harsh on us. We realized that we were the better team individually, but their set plays together and how they played the map was really strong. And so we knew that going to Haven, we had to switch our play style enough to the fact that we would be able to at least convincingly win more rounds. And that's what we did, 13-7 into Haven. We had the Neon. We switched our play style to be a lot more aggressive and a lot more map controlling. And so, which I think they weren't ready for, because both maps we played very passive. And then obviously we kept the A control, and going into that, they just kept fighting to us and they kept losing, and it just dominantly gave us that half for free. And then after that, we just dominated the whole map. So 13-7. And then going to our final week, week 7, we play Illini, Orange, and it's our Illinois, rivals, I'm going to say, in this NECC bracket. So we're pretty excited. I think this match, if we do end up winning, will set us change our seed. We should be set for playoffs already, top 4. If we do win, it will be us switching from 4 seed to 3 seed. And if we don't win, we stay 4 seed and we play top seed. And I'm pretty confident going into this. I think the team is as well. But I think the pressure is on for who's going to win this match, because obviously they're rivals. And I think I'm very excited to play them for the fact that it's an Illinois battle. But I think for the fact that it's just for playoff seeding, it isn't too serious, but we do want to make sure we have an easier time. So we're going to try our hardest to win.
My name is Chris. My in-game name is Hysteria, and I'm the primary duelist for the team. And at this point, we're in the Illini game for the final game of the NECC regular season. And the only real map that ended up mattering in retrospect was map 3 on Bind, where we really struggled to just close it out. We lost 11-13, and overall the series 1-2. The biggest issue we had there was just being unable to adapt to what they were doing after they figured out what we were doing. The map and the match mattered quite a bit, because them winning got them the 3rd seed and us the 4th seed, which put us against the 1st seed right at the start of the playoffs, which is never what you want to have happen. And now that we're in the playoffs, the first round against Conestoga, the 1 seed, started out with both teams just trading their map picks really decisively. Both teams showed no signs of weakness really on their map picks, tying the score up 1-1 by the 3rd map. The 3rd map was Pearl, and similarly to the last game of the regular season, we lost 11-13 with a really strong defense, but with we were just unable to find where their gaps were on attack. Both of these last 2 series, losing both of the 3rd maps by realistically just 1 or 2 mistakes, is a bit of a bitter moment when we know that we could have won both of those series for sure and gone through the winner's side of the bracket immediately, especially for the playoffs. It was a consistent issue we had a good couple times, just being unable to close out. So I'm not too surprised by both of those 2 results, but it doesn't change the fact how it feels. Pretty bitter. Going into the first lower match we played, and what ended up being our only lower playoff match we ended up playing in this playoffs, the vibes were immediately off. Even from my perspective, which I consider myself to be probably the most stable mental on the team, it was tough to get going and really feel like we could win or wanted to win. It was a matchup that we knew we could win. We had won before, and shouldn't really have been an issue for us, but there was definitely a pretty large sentiment of just not really feeling it, and it was really difficult to adjust with that mindset as a whole. Obviously, the end result for that season isn't the greatest, but overall throughout the season we had some really nice highs, and the team felt really solid at a lot of different moments, especially considering we had a walk-on fill in. Niles did an amazing job, having just about no experience with the competitive side of Valorant, and him alone made quite a couple of strides when it came to improving. But I definitely have quite the hopes going into next semester, where we'll have a consistent fifth man and like a solid IGL that'll be consistent, able to like direct and lead us. And I think I'm just really looking forward to it.